And welcome to the 250, the podcast where everything we see is blurred and indistinct. I'm Douglas, and with me as always is my co-host Jonathan. How are you, Jonathan?
I'm great.
Are you in the mood for love?
I'm always in the mood for love.
Aww. That's cute.
Yeah.
If this is your first time tuning into the 250, we have taken a snapshot of IMDb's top 250 movies of all time as of January 2020, and have begun watching them from number 250 through to number 1. In this podcast, we discuss our opinions, thoughts, and reactions to the movies within. Today's movie, number 240, In the Mood for Love.
Hong Kong, 1962. Chow Mo-wan, a newspaper editor, and Su Li-Zhen, a beautiful secretary, move into an apartment building with their respective spouses. The neighbouring couples, Chow and Li-Zhen, soon find themselves becoming friends while their partners are on leave, though the purpose for their spouse's absence soon becomes grimly clear.
This film is directed and written by Wong Kar-Wai, or Kar-Wai Wong. We weren't really able to find clear. I'm a bit unclear on Chinese
That's just
name.
They normally say the surname first, so I would say like the family name is Wong, I believe.
Wong. So we're probably if we were to use it in the English sense, it would be Kar-Wai Wong.
Yeah.
But in their naming scheme, it's Wong Kar-Wai.
It doesn't super matter. It doesn't super matter.
Yeah, I mean,
I gather.
That's the man.
Yeah, that dude. He's done some other kind of interesting films. He's got The Grandmaster, which is the description kind of sucks. I'm not entirely certain what's going on, but it's like a martial arts film. And then,
okay, cool.
Most interestingly, is it's more popular on IMDb. Not more popular, sorry, but it's more known for is a film called 2046, which is a semi-sequel because it features Su Li-Zhen from this film. Sort of. It's weird, but I'm really interested in it.
Sci-fi elements.
Yeah,
we only just
weird.
discovered this literally like 10 minutes ago while we were getting ready for the podcast, and we were both just like, what?
Yeah, and I really want to see this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's well known for his visuals, basically. He's, and, you know, kind of a bunch of romances, but obviously, yeah, he's got this martial arts film that's apparently his best known for film. So He's got a bit of range there, which is cool. I mean, how'd you feel about this film, Douglas? Actually, sorry, no.
Before we say anything,
most important thing, this film, if you are interested in romantic dramas and slow films that really let you kind of like really simmer, fucking cut it. I swear to fucking God, cut the podcast off right now. This film is basically the main important point of the film is spoiled fucking everywhere, and it would be so much better for you to go in without knowing it. So if especially if like the concept of watching more Asian films after, you know, Parasite's success, I mean, fuck it. My personal recommendation, shut off the podcast, watch the fucking movie right now before you say anything else. Don't look at any descriptions. If you go on Netflix or whatever, don't read the fucking description because it will fucking spoil it. I'm legitimately mad about this shit.
Yeah, I was going to say,
because it's so important to, like, it's such an amazing, like, it's not a twist. I guess it's a twist. It fucking spoiled everywhere. Anyway. That's my number one thing.
And we've done our best not to spoil it here, but in saying that, the availability of this film is very few and far in between. So, especially in Australia, where Jonathan and I are currently based, you might find a little bit more luck tracking it down overseas for some of our international listeners. In France and Ireland and places like that. You never know, you might be able to find it somewhere over there, but over here, it's very few and far between in where you can actually find it. I checked on Amazon in Australia. You can pick up a DVD copy for about $50. So it's a hard one to track down, but if you can get a hold of it, absolutely can recommend this film. And definitely go and check it out right now and then come back in here and we'll have a bit more of a chat about it.
I reckon this has got to be one of my most recommended films that we've watched so far. I loved it just because, it it laser focuses on the subject of this relationship. And this is semi-spoilers. We'll have full spoilers later. If you're listening past this point, I'm very disappointed, okay? Watch the fucking movie. What the fuck was I saying? Now I've derailed myself.
It laser focuses on the relationship.
On this relationship, and it's very slow and contemplative. I bitched during our PK review that this film has, like, it fucking goes for 2.5 hours and really seems unnecessary. This is slow for the right reasons, and it only goes for 1 hour and 40 minutes. It is the perfect movie. That is, it's just, it's so fucking good. It's like Drive, except no one's head gets kicked in and turned. Have you seen Drive?
I haven't seen Drive.
Nobody's head gets kicked in that film. Just
okay,
forget I said that. It's just like a visually beautiful. It's in the best way the kind of film that I would totally expect to be watching for like an English class or something. There's a lot of
for like a film class or something.
A lot of metaphor and analysis, and that's partly because it was kind of because this is filmed in 2000. Well, it was released in 2000. Yeah, and because of that, and because of the area doing, kind of romantic, sexual type stuff is very, like, hard to, it was kind of, what's the word? It was not the done thing,
It's hard to get right without it being a cheesy rom-com type of shtick.
Like, literally just, like, not, like, showing sex and stuff was, like, really looked down upon is kind of the big issue. And that doesn't happen in this film, but, that means that there's more of a focus on, like, just everything about these characters. I fucking love this movie. So good. Oh my god, it was so good. I was such a breath of fresh air. I'm sorry, PK, but I was just like,
Well, you haven't seen Parasite yet, have you?
I have not seen Parasite.
I would, if you can, I would strongly recommend holding off that movie until we get to it. It's such a long way down the track, but if you can, really hold off on getting to it, because I have seen Parasite already, but for me, that's the closest thing I can kind of parallel this to in terms of, I guess, culture and everything. It has that similar, just tonal vibe about it, and as you said, the twist, quote unquote, is it's there and it's good and it's deserved. It doesn't feel forced. The writing, pacing is perfect. Cinematography all blends in perfectly. If you can't already tell, Jonathan and I both recommend this movie. Just
it was really, really
go
good.
Watch it and then come back and listen to us bitch about it for about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, not bitch about it, glorify it.
Visual delight. Really loved the dramatic elements. Really loved the romance. The film does an amazing job of show don't tell.
Yes, yeah.
As opposed to PK, which was tell don't show.
Da 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 da.
And that movie had just like so much like just exposition and shit.
Oh boy, yeah.
I think we should just skip straight to spoilers, man. So fucking good.
We should. So go check out this movie if you can.
Was that the air horn?
No, now it's time for Now it's time for the air horns. There you go.
There we go. Okay, cool. Just like visually, I once again fucking starstruck by everything in this. But visually, this film has a very deliberate style.
Yeah,
it's using a lot of symbolism, some of which I picked up, and I hazard a guess that a lot of that I didn't. There was probably a lot of stuff that was, like I said, like a fucking English book report, except I didn't fucking hate it because, what was that? I think I've bitched to you about before, that film I did for a book report where it had like children committing suicide and a full frontal fucking birth scene.
Oh, Jesus.
And it ends in the most unsatisfying, horrible, sad way.
I remember for my English studies, I did a, what is it? We Need to Talk About Kevin or whatever it is.
Uh-huh. What's that about?
Yeah, it's We Need to Talk About Kevin with Tilda Swinton. And that one's about basically a school shooting.
What the fuck is it with fucking English teachers and going like, you've got these kids, they are full of hormones. They are more hormone than human right now, okay? And a lot of them are really depressed. You know what is a great idea right now?
Let's traumatize them.
Let's give them books and films exclusively about death, like murder, like the saddest shit in the world. What could possibly go wrong? Let me just say I fucking hated English. I like English, like, you know, breaking down
as a
pieces
concept,
of media and stuff. Fucking Mrs. Mason, I swear to fucking God. You could have picked some different shit. Fuck me. So, this film has one of the big things you pick on really quickly is the repeated visuals.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's all kinds of like... so, what have we got? There's that cafe, I think, or like the bar with like that kind of curved sweeping opening and the magazine rack in the background. Do you remember that?
Yep.
I think that was a bar, right?
Yeah, probably.
But that one shot of the entrance comes up a bunch of times. There's the doors to the apartments constantly being shown. Do you have any other examples of this? Because I don't want to go on too far, but... No.
I mean, before I kind of touch on anything in terms of cinematography, I'd like to point out that Christopher Doyle is, more commonly known in Cantonese as Du Ho Fung. He is a Australian Hong Kong cinematographer.
Oh.
And he worked on this film as well as working on over 50 Chinese language films. And he has collaborated with Wong Kar-Wai in pretty much all of his films. So...
Well, he did a good fucking job.
Yeah, his eye behind the camera is really something special. And, I mean, for me, it happens a lot, so I can't really name any specific moments. But I enjoyed a lot of the tight camera angles.
Yep.
Especially in, like, their little corridor apartment building. And within those apartments as well. I just really liked the tightness of it all. It all felt, everything that was within the frame of the shot felt like it needed to be there, rather than them trying to squeeze as much of the bloody setting as they possibly could when you don't need to.
Exactly.
They're living in this tiny space. It makes far more sense to have these really tight, borderline claustrophobic kind of angles. And the other one that got me was all of these great dolly shots. There's a sequence where Chow and Li Zhen are both sitting at dinner and talking to each other, and the editing is doing cuts back and forth between the two talking, but then the realization starts coming to them, and then they start doing dolly shots, panning back and forth between the two of them as they start speaking, and it gives that kind of oh shit kind of realization through the camera.
I loved that moment where they realize it, and I'll come back to the visuals.
Sure.
There's so much, and this is why I think it's so important you don't know about what the film's about before you watch it, because the film is dropping these hints throughout where... she's referred to as Mrs. Chan.
Throughout the film. Yeah.
My assumption is that's her husband's surname?
Possibly, yeah. And her maiden name is Li Zhen.
We're not entirely certain why. So she's not actually referred to as Li Zhen, I don't believe, during. Maybe the start or something. But she, her boss, because she's do you say an assistant? A secretary?
She's a secretary, yeah.
Secretary. She, her boss is constantly putting her on errands to buy things for her boss's like mistress.
Yeah.
And that kind of puts you in the right like headspace for that theme of cheating.
Yeah. Your mind is already kind of keyed into it.
You're like, this is something that's happening, and then when it comes up, you're like, oh, I kind of get it.
And she has that really fucking good line towards the beginning there that's, you notice things if you pay attention.
I had it written down.
Oh, God. Good writing.
And then that leads to these parallels because the boss mentions the tie and the bags, and then that's exactly how they realize
they click
because their significant others have done the same thing. And that realization was like, even knowing it, that realization was so cool. I think that would be fucking mind blowing if you didn't know like the description of the film.
And just the acting of their real life. For me, this is also pretty A-class acting because...
Oh my God. Why did I not write that for that? Yeah.
They don't... For me, the best acting is that you don't feel like they're actors. You feel like they're just people who just happen to be on camera and they are speaking to each other. That is the best kind of acting for me, and that is exactly what is happening here with these two actors. It's Tony Leung and Maggie Cheung, I think it is.
Yep.
Chow and Mrs. Chan. Yeah, they are just exquisite throughout this film, and they never drop the ball in any single scene. Their objective and their through line is just so consistent all the way through. And for me, they could have easily fallen into the trap of, when they realize that their spouses are having an affair, they could have so easily fallen into the trap of, them getting angry and, Chow like flipping a table or some shit and being all like, whoa. But it's just this somber kind of solemn silence that washes over the pair of them.
It felt so real.
And it's, it cuts you right to the bone seeing them both in that state because they're both so polite.
Yeah.
Like, that was one of my notes. I was just like, in all caps, I was like, they're so nice. They're such gorgeous people.
They continue to do that acting that feels so real because as they continue to do things together, they start making, doing rehearsals, I guess, for like how they're going to tell the other person that they know. And that's got the scene with Mrs. Chan kind of breaking down as she tries to like fake confront her husband.
And actually, just touching on their spouses real quickly, I like the stylistic idea to leave their spouses both metaphorically and literally out of the picture. You never get to see them. You hear their voices, but they have this sense of anonymity, which I really love.
They're not the interesting characters,
Exactly. And then it stops the confusion for the audience. So we're not going, which couple are we with here? What's going on? You just only ever see the broken party, I guess.
That was really, really good. I'm just constantly so fucking mad that like that's how it's described. Like they're just right off the bat. It's like their spouses are cheating on each other, and it's like, oh, well, that's fucking just fucking throw
cool.
the whole
Thanks,
film in the
IMDb.
bin. How are you? Fuck me.
And everyone's like, don't talk about Parasite though.
So back to the visuals, I guess. The setting. So the film is almost entirely, especially specifically the Hong Kong section,
Sequence,
almost entirely filmed indoors.
Yeah.
Except for a couple of shots where they're outside the apartment, but whenever they do that, it's like raining.
Yeah, out to the kitchen and stuff like that.
To get a bit book report on you. I felt that kind of simultaneously represents like kind of the warmth, the intimacy that is happening between the two, but also gives you this like feeling of them being trapped. And it also just like visually gives you loads of opportunities to do some really fun stuff with lighting. The film has like this crazy use of shadow and stuff. Like it's extremely fucking dark, which kind of sucked because I was forced to watch it outdoors given my schedule. And I was like, is my fucking laptop screen broken? No, it was fine. It's just a very dark film. But they work with all these like, dark kind of grays and reds and yellows, which kind of builds upon that whole intimate feeling that the film is, heavily dependent on, as it were.
Going for, yeah, absolutely.
So, like, visually, I cannot overstate how good it is.
For me, the production design of the film was exquisite. The costuming and, as you stated already, all of the sets, furniture, props, all of that stuff was sublime, all period accurate, especially the ladies' fashion. A lot of what Mrs. Chan wears is, she's in all of these, what are they? They're Cheongsam dresses.
Oh, okay.
And she's constantly got all these gorgeous, 60s patterns, and Chow's suits and everything are also all very period accurate settings. Yeah, it's all, for me, that was what got me. I was like, yes, this all looks so perfectly 60s. Like, I wouldn't be able to tell that this movie was made in 2000. It felt that period accurate.
The attention to detail is crazy.
Yeah.
The Foley got me.
Yeah.
Specifically at the start where Mrs. Chan is, like, getting the room. There's, like, not loads of talking going on, but there's, people moving stuff around. There's lots of sound in the background of just, like, people doing stuff and people talking that just immediately makes it feel like a real place. And there's just, like, all these little cute, pretty shots, like... There's the shot where they're both working on the cereal, where Mr. Chow is writing.
Yeah.
And you see him from behind, as there's this dolly shot from Mrs. Chan to Mr. Chow. You see his back, but there's a mirror on his desk that has been set up so you can see his hand and see that he's writing, which was just like such a cute little way to not... Because otherwise you'd have to... change the angle of the shot or face him weirdly or something.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to kind of break the integrity of that shot. He's like, I want them to look this specific way, but I'm going to do this little clever thing so I can kind of show you what he's doing.
Yeah.
That was just so fucking clever. And like the slow motion shots of like, there's like a shot later on where it's just him smoking and there's like this like tight angle shot of like smoke coming up through the frame.
I mean, oh damn, I wish I said it in the pre-spoilers, but the kind of recurring theme, it's called Yumeji's theme.
Yes.
Composed by Shigeru Umebayashi, is probably one of my favorite pieces of soundtrack I have heard in a long, long time. It is just so bittersweet and melancholic, and it exudes all of the perfect emotions that this film gives.
It's an actual leitmotif. I had this bitch already, but there's a big thing with fucking people recognizing motifs as leitmotifs. But this specifically, it comes up to remind you of the emotion of their relationship, and it means they can drop it in places where they're not together but they're clearly thinking of each other or things like that, and you say more without saying anything. So yeah, it happens a couple of times where they'll be eating separately, for example, and this track will go over and you'll be kind of like reminded of what's going on. It's I did feel like it was a little overused. Maybe there could have been a bit more variation to it.
I didn't mind it. I think it's such a fucking gorgeous piece of music that I did definitely... It's not like PK where it's this clunky, incredibly poorly mixed in, like, just blaring in the foreground track. It's just, it complements the visuals. For me, that's what music in film needs to do, is it needs to complement what is visually happening and... if necessary, accentuate what is happening. And for me, that piece of score accentuates the kind of bittersweet, the sadness, the melancholy, all of those emotions that come through the inner turmoil of realizing that someone that you love is growing more and more distant from you.
Yeah. So, it's a pretty minor complaint. It didn't wear on me. And it definitely was a good sounding piece of music that played a very important role. So I have no major issues with it. Yeah. It just comes off a lot. So I'm...
Oh man, this is like this. I did not expect you to enjoy this movie that much. I got to be real with you.
I think just to jump back to the visuals, just because it's something that's come to my mind. So like I said, almost all the film, like the kind of quote-unquote main part of the film, is all indoors, and it's almost always at night.
Yeah.
In fact, it might always be at night.
Yeah.
Except for maybe when they're at work. And then the film, when they kind of go like, this isn't happening, and it kind of breaks off, it suddenly opens up. They have the shot of Mrs. Chan back in the apartment, and it's daytime, and it's kind of very bright, and she's, playing with her child. And Mr. Chow goes to... Fuck, what's the temple? I should know this. It's in Civ.
Oh, really?
The one that he goes to at the end. Fuck, what's it called? The temple he goes to at the end is so open, and obviously it's like this ruined temple, but it's so green and completely contrasts what went on. And I guess...
Angkor Wat.
Angkor Wat, that's what it is.
It's in Cambodia, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I guess there is that one shot when he first moves away. There's one of those full screen text shots, and then it cuts to a picture of the sky with some palm trees. So that's almost like a gradient into that. It starts to... We're kind of moving out of this confined setting into the open that the film kind of ends on.
Yeah.
Which... It's just such a cool fucking thing. I'm probably fucking thinking into it too much, but
yeah, no. And the bit with the secret that can't be shared, I really liked that, and that's the denouement with Chow at that monastery. Yeah, it's perfect.
The little fucking touch of her visiting his apartment and leaving the lipstick stained cigarette.
Cigarette. Yeah.
Show don't tell. I said it before. Show don't tell.
Yeah, show don't tell.
Mamma mia. It's
so good.
Potentially a bit too much like visual metaphor and that kind of thing, but I fucking love it.
I mean, like, yeah, I guess if you're willing enough to play along with the show don't tell aspect, then yeah, you're gonna love it. But I guess I know there's definitely some people out there that, they need shit like that, like explicitly stated.
Yeah.
Or otherwise they're just going to be like, I don't fucking care about this. What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why this film is so low on the 250, is that it just, either it didn't have that reach perhaps when it first came out, or maybe it just flew under people's radars. I have no idea.
I wonder how it went critically. Because it seems...
Critically, I think it did very well.
It seems like a critical darling kind of film. 85 on Metascore. Yeah.
85, that's pretty strong.
It's not bad. I'm just seeing if it
for Metascore, awards. That's pretty solid. I don't think it cleaned up at any award shows or anything like that. It did. It was at the Cannes Festival though. I know that.
Oh, okay.
It was at the 2000 Cannes Film Festival, and it did get nominated for Palme d'Or.
Okay.
And Tony Leung was awarded Best Actor, and he was the first Hong Kong actor to win the award at Cannes Film Festival.
Wow, nice. From this film?
Yep. Hell
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess I also kind of wanted to talk about the characters. I mentioned before the kind of how the apartment makes it feel so... What's the word? Like, the apartment feels so real through all the kind of hustle and bustle. And the film continues to build on this kind of the family feeling of this apartment. They're not just... I mean, they kind of are a backdrop, but they're also not just a backdrop. They're not just a backdrop to these people's lives, I guess. Yeah. So you've got Mrs. Suen.
Is she the mahjong playing lady?
She is I think she owns the... So were they in... separate apartments? Like, did they have whole apartments themselves, or did they just have rooms?
I think they just had rooms, and then they were subletting from Mrs. Suen and
Mr. Koo.
Yeah.
I've actually written down the wrong name here, but the Ping,
yeah.
Why don't I Mr. Chow? Ping was like a great character as well to kind of
stop everyone from getting too depressed.
Yes. But it also kind of lets you see... You can kind of build Mr. Chow's character off of that. Yeah.
It's nice that Chow isn't completely alone outside of Mrs. Chan and Chow's own wife.
So I just love that. I thought that was a really kind of... They were, obviously they had less screen time, but they felt just as important to...
Yeah, they still contribute to those characters, and they don't feel arbitrary to the story, which I think is super important. And I speaking of comedy, there's one little bit at the beginning that made me chuckle, which is when they're moving into the apartments.
Yep.
And the removalist guys are bringing all of their stuff in.
Yep.
And they're like, "Oh, wrong apartment again!" Like,
yeah.
I found that really funny and
that was
kind of
kind of
wholesome.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder if that was... Because was that kind of used to... It's not used to, introduce them to each other, I don't think. They only meet each other after they're finished moving, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. And I think doesn't some stuff of Mrs. Chan's gets brought into Chow's apartment, and then he's like, "Oh, just leave it with me. I'll return it later."
Right. Okay.
I think it's the books, and then that's how he finds out that they have that common connection in... Is it martial arts?
It was martial arts serials.
Yes, that's it.
So I think books.
I think that was what happened.
Yeah, which was... I love that as a concept as well. That's so cute. Just like these two people just like, fuck yeah, I love martial arts books. Fuck yeah. Fucking awesome. Yeah, and there's just like fun stuff where... Because I think they talk to... I think they talk to their spouses, but their spouses are always off screen.
Yes, correct. That was what I was stating before.
Because I knew that they weren't ever shown on screen. I just didn't know if they ever appeared like at all or not. But that was the same thing. It's like kind of an interesting, fucking good choice, I reckon. Yeah. So yeah. It feels like we don't have loads to say about it. This is... I'm realizing we're running like a little shorter than we normally do. But I think the film really speaks for itself, and it's just as... I'm just going to keep fucking frothing on about the same shit again.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like if we keep on frothing about this movie, it's going to be almost redundant for the things that we're frothing about. Yeah. Which is a shame, because it is such a wonderful movie, and there is so many things to unpack here, but yeah, it's kind of... I feel like we're just going to be, crossing back over the same content constantly, so...
Plot-wise, it's kind of actually a little slim, because the film really... what it does have, it really gets its money's worth out of it, so...
It gets in and it gets out. It's an hour and a half.
It is, yeah.
It does what it needs to do, and then it gets the fuck out.
It made me so happy after seeing Big
Pacing is good, yeah.
Yeah. God, the pacing is, like... fucking stellar.
Pacing is superb.
It's obviously it's slow, but it's very consistent in that.
Yeah.
There's no like high drama situation where things start moving really quickly or anything.
No.
So
love it.
I guess in that case, Douglas,
yes.
It pains me that this may end up being a shorter episode, but I reckon we should flip into some trivia.
Or let me give you some bloody trivia. There's actually some...
Bloody flip us over into some flippy-dippy-doo-dah.
There's actually some really solid trivia that I've managed to scrounge together.
Fuck yeah.
Maggie Cheung, so Mrs. Chan, her hair and makeup took 5 hours each day to apply.
Whoa.
Because, that was one of the notes I touched on earlier. Their hair is insane.
Yeah, shit, it is, isn't it?
Like the 1960s hairdos. That shit, like, goes up and then it curls and then, like... Oh, God, it's crazy. And the makeup doesn't look that intense, but there is still so much refinement to, I think, especially Chinese women's makeup, especially in the 1960s. Like, they really had to, like, glam up. So they had, like, all of the blush and foundation and then lipstick and then, like, their contouring, doing eyeliner, eyeshadow. Yeah, there was so much to it. So... reading that, I was like, well, yeah, no fucking wonder with fucking Mrs. Chan's hair. That should be crazy.
I wonder how long it takes to get rid of all the makeup in here.
Probably not that long. Just a quick shower and a makeup wipe and you'll be right.
Some makeup wipes, yeah.
Yeah. In saying that, though, it would have been a very arduous process because the filming took 15 months.
Whoa. Wait, well, sorry, filming was 15 months?
Filming, yeah. So the actual shoot was 15 months long.
God, what? I'm kind of... I mean, there's not that many shots. I mean, sorry, there's lots of shots, but it's like...
To add on to that, the original cut was 130 minutes long before 32 minutes were edited out to achieve the 99-minute theatrical cut.
Okay.
So there was evidently a lot of stuff left on the editing room floor.
Yeah.
Which just makes John go, yes!
Keep it concise, kids.
Yeah. Put shit on the floor. The original idea and inspiration for the film stemmed from a Japanese short story concerning two characters who often walk by each other in a stairwell but do not converse. In that story, the characters end up committing suicide.
Oh, well, I like this ending better.
Where they're just alone and sad.
She's happy. He's sad.
Well, yeah, Mrs. Chan is all okay, but Chow's not having the best time.
No.
Filming was shifted from Beijing to Macau after Chinese authorities demanded to see the completed script. Director Wong Kar-Wai never used scripts.
Really?
So going on top of that, during filming, Wong Kar-Wai improvised often with the actors, crafting the story and mood of the film as he went along. Originally, In the Mood for Love was a much more obvious romance film with the actors throwing witty dialogue at each other and engaging in several scenes of lovemaking. Eventually, the actors and director decided to tone the mood down to the more subtle version that was released in theaters.
That's really interesting.
So this could have been a completely different film.
Yeah, it's not even like when he says he doesn't use scripts, it's not just like I don't use specific, like this is exactly what you say. It's like, it's almost like there's almost no storyboarding to it. Like,
no, you just get there and see what happens.
That's very interesting.
Which makes the accomplishments of this film even more fucking monumental.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
Director Wong Kar-Wai was shooting the ending and editing the film a little over a week before its debut at Cannes.
No.
That is like either procrastination to the max or...
Wow.
I have no idea. Scheduling issues, who knows?
Yeah.
That's fucking dedication right there. Wong Kar-Wai found the English title for In the Mood for Love while listening to a song from a Brian Ferry CD with a similar title, I'm in the Mood for Love. It is a cover of a 1930s song with the same title, and Wong Kar-Wai used the title and the song in an early Hong Kong trailer of the film, and it was also used in the US trailer of the movie.
Interesting.
So that's, clever.
Inspiration can come from anywhere.
Absolutely. The film was ranked number 2 in BBC's 100 Greatest Films of the 21st Century list, and the highest ranking non-English film.
Wow.
So that got me curious when I saw that, and I was like, what actually is BBC's 100 Greatest Films of the 21st Century? How is that conducted and everything? BBC Culture got 177 film critics from around the world to submit their responses for 10 films which, according to them, so their own personal opinion, were the greatest. And the time period of release was from January 2000 to June 2016.
Okay.
Which was when the responses were all collected. Each film listed in the responses was then given points based on the critiques ranking. So, for instance, if a film got number 1, it got 10 points. And then if it was at number 10, it would get 1 point, so on and so forth.
Yep.
The list actually has 102 titles because there was a tie between Carlos, Requiem for a Dream, and Tony Erdmann for the 100th rank. With 3 movies each, Api Chat Pong Wira Sita Cool, Christopher Nolan, Wes Anderson, Paul Thomas Anderson, Michael Haneke, and the Coen brothers have the largest number of films in the list. So each of those directors have 3 films apiece in the list.
What was number 1?
Number 1 was Mulholland Drive by David Lynch.
Oh, I have not heard of that.
Or directed by David Lynch, I should say.
Sorry,
are you looking up Mulholland Drive now?
I may be.
Yeah. Number 4 was Spirited Away.
Oh, wow.
Number 3 was There Will Be Blood, which was Paul Thomas Anderson, starring Daniel Day-Lewis, a 2007 drama film. I feel like I have seen There Will Be Blood, and that's a very good film.
Maybe we should have done this top 100. We'd be done quicker.
What's a good one? Oh, Ratatouille at number 93.
Hey!
Ratatouille.
Wait, is Ratatouille on the list?
I don't believe it is.
I love that movie.
Really? That is a good movie, actually.
That's potentially my favourite Pixar film.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, how about
I love
that?
cooking as well, so that probably plays a big part in it, but...
You love what? Cooking.
Cooking, yeah. Feels like cheating, but, you know.
Yeah, big time. I don't believe Ratatouille is on the list.
Oh, shit. Well, maybe...
It's got an 8 on IMDb, so that just...
Oh, that's a total snub.
That just...
It's 100% a snub. That is definition snub.
Chuck it on the list.
Chuck it on the bloody list, boys.
Buddy, look out forward. This is your buddy 250 sneak peek. Ratatouille coming at you probably like 40 episodes from now.
Oh my god.
Because we do have a lot of our bonus snubs already keyed up for the next couple of ones that we got.
It's kind of flexible. I just want to watch Mandy next. That's it.
Wow, great way to spoil it, dickhead.
We've already fucking talked about this. We were going to do Mandy as the last one, but then you fucking bent my fucking arm and we did Death Star instead.
Well, I'm sorry. But anyway, yeah, that's all the trivia I had for In the Mood for Love. I thought, especially that it being number 2 in BBC's 100 Greatest Films is,
That's nutso.
I can't believe that it's that high ranking in that and then this low ranking in IMDb's 250. That seems very intriguing.
Someone clearly had it right, and it was BBC. Yep. Just saying.
The 177 critics that got picked to submit responses for 21st century films. Yeah. But there you go.
Yeah.
I'm in the mood for love.
I am like it's a pretty sad movie, but it like calm me down.
At the same time, it makes me very happy that I do have a partner that loves me and is
Aww.
And is very sweet.
Okay.
How about you, Jonathan?
I'm doing alright. If you want to contact us, you can check our email. 250pod@gmail.com. That's TwoFiveOhpod@gmail.com. We're also at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at 250pod.
You can also listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Pocket Casts, Google Home, and Amazon Echo. We are really branching out. Like, I feel like that list has... we've only done, this is our 11th episode. We are already spanning out to a lot of platforms. That's crazy.
That's how podcasts work, baby. I explained in the other episode.
Yeah, I know.
It's pretty straightforward. It's very easy to set up a podcast and share it on different apps as long as you're not dumb like a certain fucking podcasting app.
That shall go unnamed.
Talking about unnamed apps, we recommend Letterboxd is a great place to check out. This sounds like an ad, it's not. We use Letterboxd to track our film watching and do little reviews and stuff. We both have our own accounts on there. I'm Upa. It is UUUPAH. That's 3 U's. I write a little review after every one in a haiku form, which is very fitting for this film, I reckon. And Douglas,
you're going to have a good one for this one, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
I am...
I'm not very good at it.
I am IENZOKNIGHT. That's Yenzo Knight with a K. And I just write, basically a couple paragraphs based on the films that we're watching here on the 250, as well as any other films that manage to creep their way in that I'm watching irrelevant to the top 250. So, it's if you want to keep track of what we're watching and what we're talking about, then swing on over there. If you whack that into the search engine, you'll track us down.
Yeah. Man, I feel so bad that this is a short episode. Because this film,
I know.
This film deserves it all. This film's fucking great.
Really does.
Oh well.
Don't let the length of this episode steer you away from this film.
Oh fuck me! What a good fucking movie.
Deserves the world. Very good film.
100%. You know what? Bloody good film. That's
good
what I'm
romance.
saying. Good bloody romance. Is it the first kind of romance we've done?
It is. This is the first romance genre film that we've had. Do you know any other romance films that might be able to top this? Because I can't think of any.
What's some good romances I personally like? I'm not sure.
I mean, I've seen a lot of kind of millennial coming of age type romance films. There's what is it? Perks of Being a Wallflower.
I like Juno, but that's not really.
Oh, Juno, true.
I feel that's definitely not. It's not the same caliber. I don't think it's on the list.
Well, I mean, there's fucking Casablanca.
Yeah, good point.
I know that's on the list.
Yeah. No, doesn't surprise me.
I can't really think of anything else. I wonder, can you classify Studio Ghibli it was one of their later ones, Wind Rises or whatever it is, had The Wind Rises. It's got Joseph Gordon-Levitt doing the dub. Is that classified as a romance? No, it's not. I haven't
watched it. Actually, Your Name is definitely a romance. That's a cracker.
True. That one makes me... Well, this one made me, like, kind of somber.
Yeah.
Your Name just makes me cry.
Yeah, it made me cry. I remember I probably mentioned it before, but I first watched Your Name with, like, a bunch of just, like, my fucking engineering friends, and it's just, like...
Dudes, yeah.
Like, 4 fucking old adult dudes just, like, trying their fucking hardest not to cry while severely juiced up. Like, we were very drunk, and just, like, bawling.
Aww. Man.
Happy ending though. It works out. Love it. Good fucking movie.
It is on the list. It's 74.
Yeah, it did it did well, and like with good reason. That is a good
It's above Howl's Moving Castle. Unfucking believable.
I haven't watched Howl's.
I love
so
that movie.
Compare it, but it's a cracker.
Oh well, we will next time on the 250.
Next time on the 250, we're jumping all the way up to Howl's Moving Castle.
Shh, no, we're not.
Yes, we are. See ya.
Don't make promises you can't know.
See you later.